It's Sunday morning. I'm getting ready to head into San Francisco to our NBC Sports Bay Area studios for a pregame show, which starts at noon, and then the postgame show, which obviously is right after the game on NBC Sports Bay Area. Um, this game obviously flexed from a 10 a.m. start with the original schedule to a 1:25 start. Pacific Coast times, of course, because of the nature of this game, pitting two 4-1 teams. And we got some 49ers news here on this Sunday morning. I just reported over at NBCSportsBayArea.com that there will be a change to the 49ers starting lineup on defense, and maybe it's not the one that you were necessarily expecting. So we'll touch on that, but also Jennings. He's going to play in this game. I know that was a big question mark throughout the week. And how do we know that for sure? Well, it's because the 49ers did not make any moves to elevate anybody from the practice squad at the wide receiver position. So they always go into a game with 5 receivers up, and the fifth one being the return specialist, Sky Moore. So the 49ers, 5 receivers for this game without Ricky Pearsall, without Jordan Watkins. Those 5 guys are Jennings, Kendrick Bourne, Demarcus Robinson, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and then Sky Moore as a return specialist. So that is a surefire sign that Jennings will have those ribs padded up and he'll be ready to play in this game on Sunday. The other roster move that the 49ers made for this one, Trevis Gibson is up once again from the practice squad. And so he will be suited and booted and ready to go for this game. And then because Malik Mustafa was brought back off the PUP list, 49ers had to create a roster spot. Robert Beal Jr. gets waived, and so he is out there for any team to take him. So Mustafa is back. Now, I'll tell you what I'm hearing, and I reported this. Malik Mustafa is not expected to start in this game. However, he will be starting at some point really soon for the 49ers because I think the team considers him their best starting safety, or their best safety period, I should say. So for the first 5 games of the season, the 49ers defensive backfield has consisted of the starting safeties being Jason Pinnock and Marquis Siegel. Now, Jair Brown has 1 start this season. That was as a big nickel when the 49ers started with 5 defensive backs. Well, Jair Brown has played well enough in the games, 50 snaps in 5 games. He's looked good in practice, and so the 49ers have decided to give him an increased role in hoping that that can help that defensive backfield. Without the pass rush that's supplied by Nick Bosa, the 49ers pass defense has not been great. They're giving up 67% of their pass attempts or completions, 8 touchdown passes they've surrendered, no interceptions. Of course, those no interceptions now through 12 games dating back to last season. And that is not the kind of modern NFL record that any team wants to set, but they've done that. So as I understand it, and what I reported is that Jair Brown and Marquis Siegel are in line to start this game against Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And that means a reduced role for Jason Pinnock. They will mix in Malik Mustafa, kind of get him going a little bit. Remember, this is a guy, Mustafa, who started a lot of games last season as a rookie. He sustained an injury in the final preseason game where basically the graft from a previous ACL surgery was detached. He got kicked in the knee, right knee. And so that graft detached. He had it reattached in January, and he was looking really good, I think, in the offseason program, and he felt like he could have been ready to start the regular season. However, the 49ers were just like, nope, this is a surgery that is basically I don't know if it's a correction of a previous surgery, just because it's the same kind of surgery on the same knee, repeat surgery. They decided, nope, we're going to shut him down, put him on PUP at the start of training camp, and just have him stay on PUP and I know talking to Mustafa in the off season or in training camp, actually, he said that he could be ready to play week 5. He had to sit out the first 4 games. He said he could be ready to play week 5, but because it was that quick turnaround Thursday game against the Rams where you don't even practice, he figured that the first game that he'd be available would be the Tampa Bay game, and here he is. He is available for that Tampa Bay game. I want to give you just a little bit of insight into Mustafa and his rehab, the physical therapy he's put in. Each week, I do an interview with Kyle Shanahan. We tape that on Thursday evenings. And so I asked him about Mustafa and kind of how he fits into the picture coming back. And this is what he had to say about Mustafa and that time away. He said, he has worked as hard as any player I've seen in my life with attacking a rehab. He should get unbelievable rewards for that. The work he put in, this has been his first week with us, meaning first week back where they can open that practice window. And it's been the first week back with us that he's been allowed to practice, but you can tell the work he put in while he was away because he's ready to go. So he is ready to go. It'll be interesting to see just how much he plays. Again, I'm under the impression, I was told he won't start, but that he will play. How much he plays, I don't know. That this is kind of a work in progress with the 49ers. I think they're in a good position at the safety spot. And I mentioned this last week. If there's a team out there that needs a safety, I think the 49ers have some guys available that they could potentially, put Jason Pinnock in a trade if it helps them get an edge rusher. It's something like, Pinnock and whatever, a 4th-round pick, a 5th-round pick for a really good player. I think that's doable for the 49ers. So they are working at a position of strength there. I know they like Jair Brown, but just to start the season, they liked Marquise Siegel and Jason Pinnock a little bit better. And now I think that the 49ers have had those struggles in pass defense where, Jason Pinnock hasn't gotten his hands on the football. Marquise Siegel seems to be right there on some occasions, but just can't finish it. So teams have gone after the 49ers safeties. And, when I cite that stat about no interceptions over the past 12 games, that was one thing that Jair Brown, I thought, did pretty well as a rookie. He stepped in late that season, started, I think, the final 5 games of his rookie season, also was on the field and started 2 of the playoff games. He had an injury for the last couple of weeks, and that carried over to the first week of the playoffs. But he was a starter in the NFC Championship game. He was a starter in the Super Bowl and actually had an interception of Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. So, 49ers are just looking to generate something. And, my thought on, who would Malik Mustafa ultimately replace? Yeah, I did think it probably would be Jason Pinnock because I think Pinnock and Siegel are close enough at this stage that you probably go with the younger guy who can benefit greatly from more experience and can kind of get his feet under him and learn from his previous mistakes. And Siegel has been very good, I think, in certain aspects. His ability to play the run, the play. I guess you could probably cite all 11 guys on defense for that 4th down stop of Kyron Williams in overtime, but it really was Siegel who came in straight ahead with Kyron Williams and just stonewall him. It was Lenore from the side. It was Marquise Siegel from the front, because so many times, as we've seen in the past, a play will kind of get blown up at the line of scrimmage on a 4th and short or 3rd and short, but there's not someone who comes in and just finishes the play, and the ball carrier can kind of get a push from the back or whatever and can get the necessary yardage for a first down. But Siegel kind of coming in the way he did with the force with which he hit Kyron Williams stopped that play. So, like I said, Siegel, he closes in on the football fast. He can get a lot better. in pass defense, no question about that. And that's an area where you figure the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to look to exploit today. Baker Mayfield having a very good season. For a player who's as aggressive as he is and likes to air it out, and he's a gunslinger, he's really cut down on the giveaways. Only the one interception through the first 5 games. In the past, he's put it out there, given the opposition chances to make plays, whatever, 2, 3, 4 times a game. 49ers will have an opportunity to make a play, to come up with an interception. And I think that maybe they feel like their best bet to do that is with Jair Brown, with Marquise Siegel, and with a little bit of maybe a lot of it turns out. I don't know. We'll see how this thing plays out. But Malik Mustafa back there as well. So 49ers looking to change things up. I think they're looking for the right combinations in their defensive backfield, specifically at the safety spot. Their corners are pretty well set, obviously, with Renardo Green, Diamador Lenore, Upton Stout, and then a good backup to Upton Stout as well, with Chase Lucas coming in and playing a lot of the second half of that game, the fourth quarter against the Rams, and then going into overtime. And Chase Lucas had a really good play as kind of a run stuffer, fitting in, kind of wedging between a double team block of the two wide receivers for the Rams and helping blow out that fourth down play. So that's the news on this Sunday morning. Juwan Jennings will be active, and then just keep an eye on who's back there. It could change on a series to series basis with Jair Brown and Marquise Siegel as of right now scheduled to start this game. Malik Mustafa will mix in there, and I'm told there are also certain packages for Jason Pinnock to make an impact on defense as well. So there's the quick rundown here, getting you ready for Week 6, 49ers against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Based on how these teams have played this season, it should be a good one. 49ers, every game they played has been a close one, decided by one score, less than one score. Well, one score. And then for the Buccaneers, even though they're 4-1, they have trailed in the final minute of all 5 of their games. So they have 4 come from behind victories in the final minute. So again, should be a close one, should be a good one. And could it possibly be an NFC playoff preview? Stay tuned for that.